Yeah, thanks, Max. I better be quick. I like Horology, and they're just about all in this field of 9. Destruct at $7, Pentas $26. Praise Indeed been very well backed in the ring, $4.50. $6 Over the Rising, $7.50 Fleet Mirage, $7 Recalcitrance, $26 Lust for Luck, $17 Castle Song, and Horology, it's favoured on the tote at about $4.20. Boy, I got through them quickly. There's Castle Song going in to join the line. I'm not sure if there's still another one to come. As I said, there's 9 runners here. Looks like there's one more behind the line there. It goes in Over the Rising, and here's our caller, Johnny Tapp.
Now, starter Bill Dale coming over to release the field.
That's it.
A face-up squarely. Praise Indeed has the inside stall. Neville McBurney has a couple of Brisbane races in mind for Praise Indeed if he goes well today. The gates open. Praise Indeed is last to leave the machine. He was a bit flat-footed. Horology bounded out in front. The rider of Fleet Mirage is anxious to lead, and Recalcitrance quickly kicking up on the inside of them. Just behind those, Destruct, followed by Lust for Luck. Over the Rising, easing back to be midfield, and then Castle Song. Pentas second last, and back at the tail, Praise Indeed after that slow start. At the 1100 mark, and Horology went to the lead under a throttle hold. In front by 3/4 to Fleet Mirage, striding closer. Recalcitrance third. 3/4 away on the outside, Lust for Luck as they go by the 1000 mark. Then Destruct and a half to Over the Rising on the outside, who's only 6 off the lead, followed by Castle Song, and back at the tail, Pentas and Praise Indeed. At the 800 mark, Horology held together by 3/4 to Fleet Mirage. A length and a half to Recalcitrance on the inside of the little fellow, Lust for Luck. 2.5 then to Destruct, followed closely by Over the Rising, and then Castle Song and Pentas, with Praise Indeed last as they near the turn. Horology's in front over Fleet Mirage. Recalcitrance third. Lust for Luck on the outside, followed by Destruct, and then Over the Rising. Castle Song giving them a tidy start, and so is Praise Indeed as they flatten for the run home. Horology has Fleet Mirage struggling. In fact, Horology kicked away coming to the 200 mark. He put about 3 lengths on him. Horology dashed away from Fleet Mirage. Recalcitrance, a little Lust for Luck. If there is a danger, he might be the one, but there's no danger. Horology clear inside the 100. Lust for Luck is getting home gamely, but Horology far too good, and won easily over Lust for Luck. Over the Rising third, then Recalcitrance, Fleet Mirage, followed closely by Destruct, Castle Song and Praise Indeed, and Pentas is last to finish.
An all-the-way win to Horology, who's now won 7 of his 14 starts, and well, he's flying at the moment. I think he's going to have one more run in the Tamworth Cup before he goes for a well-earned spell, and if you backed him, he's paid $4.20 and $1.70. Horology, TAB number 9, and what an impressive win it was. Okay, now let's look at these others. Fleet Mirage chasing him in the yellow sleeves. He can't do any better. Recalcitrance in the white cap. He can't do any better. Then it's little Lust for Luck out in the centre, also in yellow sleeves and black colours. Lust for Luck races home to run second, and then in the pink colours outside of him is Over the Rising, who gets third prize. If you backed number 7, Lust for Luck, second placing will pay you $6.80, and Over the Rising number 4 will pay you $1.80. That was racing today. I hope you enjoyed it, and in the meantime, here's Ken Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Ken. Plenty of activity out there in the playing arenas of Australia this afternoon, and who's been keeping an eye on all that? None other than Ian Maurice.
That's it. You got it right, Kev. 3 AFL games on this afternoon. Carlton and the West Coast doing battle, and it is a tight one. Carlton up by 3, 6 goals 8 to 6 goals 5. Geelong playing Richmond, and in this encounter it is Richmond leading by 4. Yeah, they're tight, aren't they? 7 goals 12 to 7 goals 8. North Melbourne and Adelaide, top of the table clash, and a 1-point lead to North. 11-6 to 11-5. My goodness me, they are close ones today. A hat-trick in cricket is rare enough, but it's not often you hear of someone taking 4 wickets and as many balls. But that's just what South Africa's Sean Pollock has done in his debut for Warwickshire in Britain's One-Day Cup. The right arm quick finished with the impressive figures of 6 for 21 from his allotted 10 overs. Thanks to Pollock, Warwickshire upstaged Leicestershire to go on and win by 3 wickets. 4 wickets in 4 balls. Well done. In golf, Australia's Wayne Riley is in pretty good shape at the halfway point of the Tour España Masters in Spain. Radar's in a tie for second behind local hope Diego Borrego. The only other Aussie to make the cut was Peter O'Malley at the Greater Greensboro Open in North Carolina. An adventurous round for Craig Parry. The even par 72 you see on the scoreboard there included a quintuple bogey 9 on the 5th hole. Best of the Aussies is Stuart Appleby, who shot a 69. He's 4 shots behind leader Keith Fergus. If you're following the fortunes of the other Australians, it's not good news. Wayne Grady, Steve Rintoul, Brad Hughes and Lucas Parsons all missed the cut. In tennis, the semi-finalists have been decided in the Monte Carlo Open, and a tougher match than expected for top seed Thomas Muster. He was taken to 3 sets by Zheng Schalken. Marcelo Rios had an easier time with Magnus Gustafsson, winning in straight sets. Frenchman Cedric Pioline got some valuable practice for the upcoming French Open by beating Carlos Costa. It wasn't all bad news for the Costa family. Alberto had a win, defeating Felix Mantilla 6-3, 6-3. Now a quick update for you on today's swimming heats at the Nationals. Susie O'Neill is on track for her 3rd gold medal of the meet. She qualified fastest for the 200 metres butterfly. Victoria's Toby Haynen has pipped 100 metres champion Stephen Dewick to swim the best heat time in the 200 metres backstroke, and Karen Van Werden will start in the Premier Lane in the 50 metres freestyle. Lisa Curry-Kenny missed a spot in that final by 1/100th of a second. That means she won't have a chance to compete in her 4th Olympics. Needing a top 2 place to contest his 2nd is Kieran Perkins, of course, and that 1500 metres decider will be live in Hey Hey at Saturday at about 7:35 tonight, called by Dickie Nee. No, it's not. Dividends are through now for the previous at Rose Hill. 9, 7 and 4. Horology $4.20 and $1.70. Lust for Luck $6.80, and Over the Rising paid $1.80. And finally, it is time to announce the winner of the $5,000 in today's Memorable Moments competition. It is congratulations to Paul Gaffney of Rydalmere in New South Wales. The most popular choice was Kieran's winning performance in Barcelona. Congratulations to you, Paul. $5,000 coming to you, less my commission. Ken, talk to you after the footy.
Good on you, thank you, Bear. The Telstra Australian Open Swimming Championships are drawing to a close, but there's still plenty of action to come from the pool on this last night of the finals. Nicole Stevenson is at the pool. Well, Nicole, what can we look forward to? And from your point of view, I mean, how would you rate the week from Australia going to these Olympics? Are they everything that we expected them to be? Are our performances up to scratch, or are we nervous Nellies at this stage?
Well, coming into the meet, there were so many predictions about the world champions, Sam Riley and Kieran Perkins. Not just them, the real performers, Ali Overton, myself, everybody was predicting that the champions were going to go well. We've seen so many upsets at this meet, and one has to ask whether or not it's just the pressure that's been put on these champion athletes. It is a very difficult situation that we've been put in to qualify just 12 weeks before the Olympic Games to win a berth in those Olympic Games. The pool has been called slow. I've been one of those people to call it slow. It's a little bit cold out here in the water, so I'm wondering whether or not that has had an effect on the performances. It seems to be affecting the girls a little bit more than the boys. We've had some great performances from Scott Miller and Scott Goodman in the butterfly events, and the medley swimming's been great as well. So I'm not so sure. I think they might have to get the boilers working overtime to heat up the pool a little bit when 2000 comes by.
Nicole, it is a little bit of an ask to have somebody, you know, breaking world records or getting close to them. I mean, I guess you don't want to peak now. It's 3 months down the track is what really matters, isn't it?
It is 3 months down the track, and you know, some people would be looking at these results overseas and thinking, well, maybe the Australians didn't taper for this event, maybe they didn't rest off. 12 weeks is the minimum time that we need for a preparation for the Olympic Games, and that's what we've got now when this competition ends. But you have to ask yourself, there's been big predictions also on Scott Volker's squad. They didn't really perform as well as they were meant to, and I'm just wondering whether or not that penalty imposed on Scott Volker's, the 2-year ban, which today has been reduced to a 1-year ban, whether or not that's had an effect on his girls. There was a period of time, about 2 weeks, that he wasn't on deck with them. They were coached by an assistant coach, and you really have to wonder whether or not that has affected those girls. But the big one tonight is Susie O'Neill. There's the 1500 and everyone's been building that up, but Susie O'Neill is so close to Mary T's world record of 205. Her best is about 207, so she's looking at trying to get down to that, and you know, this is a good chance for her. That $25,000 is still up for grabs for a world record. So there's some great events on tonight. You know, the 200 backstroke, my second favourite event behind the women's 200 backstroke. And Toby Haynen, incredible story. He made a comeback after 1992. He suffered viral pneumonia and didn't compete very well in 92. Had a fairly average 4 years since then, but he's qualified fastest this morning and looking to make his second Olympic team at just 21 years of age.
Nicole, yeah, we've been offered 2 lanes at Atlanta in each of the events. Do you think we should be putting a hand up and taking those 2 lanes?
Very much so. I guess we've had so few athletes qualify at these championships. I think we're up to about 16. We can take a total of up to about 35 athletes. It really will be a shame if we don't at least give younger kids a chance to go to the Olympic Games. It really is something special going to an Olympics, and I really believe that you don't hit your peak until you've been to a couple, 3 times for me. You really don't hit your peak till you've been to a couple, because it is such a huge experience. But hopefully we'll fill it full of relay teams and some of those kids that came second but didn't make the qualifying time. It really comes down to being into the selectors' hands, and I'm grateful that I've already made the automatic qualifying time, because I really wouldn't like to be in the selectors' hands.
Nicole, let's talk about Atlanta. What sort of facilities do you think the swimming team will have? Do you know much about the pool over there? What's it going to be like?
Well, the big thing was that the swimming pool at Atlanta, the roof actually collapsed about a month ago. And at the Homebush Aquatic Centre, if I had been sitting out in these stands, you can just imagine the roof in the middle of the stands collapsed. Luckily, nobody was hurt, and they've had to resurrect that roof. So the facilities are very unusual in the sense that it's what we call, the swimmers dubbed, a big carport, or a big car garage. It's an outdoor pool with a ceiling on it. It does have a good atmosphere. It's very humid there in Atlanta. The weather conditions here in Sydney that we're racing under are completely different to what we'll be racing in Atlanta. It is so humid and so hot, and once again, pressure of the Olympic Games. Hopefully we'll come through and you know, compete really well there.
Nicole, with the Kieran Perkins thing, I mean, Kieran has said he doesn't want a deal done. Carew says, I don't want a deal done. He says that I know Kieran doesn't want one done. But, I mean, we're almost like we're in a desperate stage that we want the man to get there no matter what. And I'm just wondering, you know, behind the scenes, what's the talk? And I guess there's a lot of pressure on young Alan, isn't there? I mean, he's being told that he's got the spot, but indirectly he must be sweating it.
Malcolm Allen is such a nice person. He's one of the real sweethearts of the team, and I really feel for him being in that position. But, you know, John Carew said that he doesn't want Kieran to swim it, and John Carew has said that Kieran would not want to swim it, but Kieran has come out and said that if that position was open, that he would like to swim it. So I guess it's a can of worms. There has been a situation in the past, back in 1994, when Francesca Van Elmsick missed the 200 freestyle final. Her teammate, Dagmar Hauser, who was a backstroker and a freestyler, was 8th qualifier. She withdrew from the final so that Van Elmsick could go in, and it was reported that something like $65,000 was paid to Hauser to pull out of that race. So I'm not sure if we're going to see something like that, but it certainly does make it a little bit more mysterious to see what's going to happen with that spot. We won't find out till the eve of the Olympic Games in 12 weeks.
Well, good on you, Nicole, doing a terrific job out there, and we appreciate you giving us the time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that you can see the 1500-metre clash between Perkins, Kowalski, Houseman and Hackett this evening at 7:30 during Hey Hey It's Saturday. And we'll replay that race during our coverage of the championship later tonight, as well as all the details of the Olympic team, which will be announced after this final night of competition. After the break, we take you to Cogra for today's rugby league action.